Hello, welcome to my secret obsession. I'm Cherish Lively, and today I'm reading the first chapter from Back from the Dead by Andres Spiteri. So, get cozy, turn up the volume, and let's read a book. Back from the Dead by Andres Spiteri. Part 1. Cornered. Chapter 1. I'm rubbing the sleep from my eyes, cursing myself for having that sixth pint, even though I knew it was a bad idea, when I spot the dead bloke. He's lying on the left side of my bed, dressed to the nines, in a black tux, red bow tie, and an immaculate iron-gray pompadour. A Rolex peeks out ostentatiously from beneath his left shirt cuff, and his black brogues are so shiny they reflect the weak light that's seeping through a crack in the blackout curtains, making it pool on my white and blue checked duvet. He looks relaxed, peaceful, except for one tiny problem. He isn't breathing, and judging by the iciness radiating from his skin, it seems unlikely that his lungs are going to magically fill up with air and get back to doing their job. I jump out of bed like I've been scalded, my face contorted in fear and disgust, and stagger backwards until I bump into the sofa across the room. In the 12 or so paces it takes me to do this, the alcohol-induced tendrils of pain that were toying with my temples mere seconds ago have turned into a full-on rager. My head's throbbing in time with my heart, which, through some freakish feat of biology, seems to have split into two parts that have lodged themselves in my eardrums. The familiar itchy warmth expands across my chest, like flames swallowing up a nest of dry twigs. My breath quickens. The four corners of my studio flat close in on me. Oh my God. What in the world? What's he doing in my bed? I reach for the pile of clothes lying next to my bed and snatch my phone from the back pocket of my jeans. My fingers are trembling so badly, it takes me 4 attempts to dial 999. But with my thumb millimeters away from the big green button, the image of a dank, dark prison cell fills my mind's eye, and I fling the phone away like it's a live grenade, sending it clattering onto the floor. How do I explain a dead man to the police? In my bloody bed! How did he get here? They're going to think I had something to do with this, aren't they? It would be just my luck. I double over, gasping for breath. The room. It's like there isn't enough air to go around. My lungs feel like they're collapsing inwards and my stomach's on fire. My God, man, get a grip. I mutter unsteadily, doing my best not to give in to the increasingly overwhelming sense that I'm drowning. Of course they won't arrest you. You had nothing to do with this at all. But I might as well be talking to a brick wall for all the good it's doing me. Telling an anxious person not to panic is like telling somebody with a cataclysmic case of the runs to stop shiting. I sit down on the edge of the sofa and focus on my breathing like my therapist taught me. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out. In, out. With every breath, my heart rate slows down ever so slightly. When it reaches a more reasonable tempo, I walk to the kitchenette, where I turn the tap and splash my face. The cold water jolts me, and the brain fog eases. Come on, Bertie. Bud, you'll get through this. I walk towards the bed and force myself to give the bloke a proper look. He's lying on his back with his eyes closed and his arms by his sides. His suit looks expensive, tailored, possibly bespoke. His face meticulously shaved, the skin clear, unbroken. There are no obvious signs of violence, at least not that I can see. No bruising, no blood. For all I know, he had a heart attack. But why is he here? Surely, there must be a reasonable explanation for that, right? I close my eyes and think back to last night, squeezing my brain cells for all they're worth, willing myself to remember. Memories come back in brief flashes. Joan telling us something Philip did, something typically idiotic of him, but which I can't quite put my finger on. Sean being reliably crass, me feeling decidedly worse for wear, cutting my night short, coming back home to an empty flat. Yes, empty. I'm sure of it. Whatever happened here must have happened after I checked out for Dreamland. That's all I can tell the police. And if they don't believe me, well, they're welcome to dig into my miserable excuse for a life as much as they like. I bend down and reach for the phone, which has landed face down next to a stray sock. The thin, white arm stretching out before me looks like a dead fish or an alien appendage. Boom, boom, boom. The knocking, 3 sharp raps of the knuckles, reverberates around the walls, and I almost lose my balance and fall flat on my face. Holy Mother of God! My heart seems to have lodged itself in my throat, and the words come out in a half-choked croak. Is this it? Could it be the police? I stand up on unsteady legs and stare at the dead bloke. A wave of nausea sweeps my body. I swallow down what feels like a big chunk of rotten apple. Oh, hell! Who is it? What do I do? I creep towards the hallway, feeling like the character in a horror movie who's walking blissfully towards their death. You're not home. Don't answer. Step away, you blithering idiot. My inner voice screams at me. But the panic I just about managed to hold at bay is back in full force, gripping me in its steel claws. I'm just an outside observer, watching myself put one wrong foot in front of the other. My eyes level with the peephole. As if on cue, my visitor knocks again, making me jump out of my skin. My breathing's too loud. Can they hear it through the door? I risk a quick peek. When I see the granny glasses, fluffy pink sweater, and steel gray bun on the other side of the door, I recoil for the second time this morning. Dear God, of all the people who could have darkened my doorstep. I back away, break into a run. She knocks again, louder. Bertie, are you there? She says. I need to speak with you. Just a minute, I shout hoarsely. Why'd I do that? Operating purely on autopilot, I pull on my jeans and a striped Gap t-shirt. Then I cover the dead bloke as best I can, pulling the duvet up as far as it can go and rumpling it into a fruitless attempt to conceal the obviously human-shaped bulge beneath. This is the last thing I need. Morag getting involved. I can see her, pushing her chest out, a twinkle in her eyes. Our building's self-appointed keeper and the world's biggest busybody, feeling completely in her element. More knocking. 5 seconds. Steeling myself, I crack the door open, hoping my disheveled appearance will discourage her from going on one of her endless diatribes about whoever is bothering her this week. Hiya, Morag. What can I do for you? I say, making my tone as bright and neighborly as I can muster. Oh, Bertie. Hi, she replies, casual as can be, as if she'd bumped into me at the cafe down the road, not almost banged down my door at 9:45 on a Saturday morning. Have you noticed any water in your bathroom by any chance? This throws me for a loop. Water? How do you mean? I noticed water pooling around my sink while I was brushing my teeth this morning. I want to facepalm myself, but through an astonishing feat of self-control, I don't. What do I care about her oral hygiene? It's seeping from between the tiles, she continues. Sorry, come again? I said, at first I thought I'd splash the water when I rinsed, she repeats more slowly, but it's seeping from between the tiles. Right, I reply. We stand there for a second, the silence hanging awkwardly between us. She looks at me expectantly, her hands resting on her considerable hips. As far as I know, my bathroom's fine. I'm not sure what to tell you. I stammer, taking an involuntary step backwards. Perhaps it's nothing. The gutters might have clogged and the rainwater could be trickling down the wall, she says. Anyway, my plumber's taking a look just now. Maybe he can come up and check your bathroom when he's done with mine. My stomach feels like somebody forced a can of petrol down my throat and chased it with a lit match. It takes every ounce of mental energy I have to keep an outward appearance of what I hope comes across as nonchalance. It's really not a good time, I say. Oh, I don't think it will take too long. I'm sure it's just the gutters. But it might be a leak, so we better get it checked out. I will myself not to look behind me at the bed and scream. I'm fairly certain I don't have a leak. My bathroom's fine. Anyway, I'd rather get my own plumber, and, as I said, it's not the best time. I can hear a hint of desperation creeping into my voice as I repeat what must be the biggest understatement of the history of understatements. Let me see what the plumber says, Morag insists. Water damage can turn nasty if you don't get on top of it right away. Better safe than sorry. I could honestly throttle her, but decide arguing the point isn't going to get me anywhere. Fine, but it depends what time he's coming. I say in a last-ditch attempt to buy myself some breathing space. Someone's coming over, so I can't really have him here. He'll come up in the next 10 minutes or so. Right. Send him over and I'll see where I'm at, I bluster. And with that, I slam the door without waiting for her reply. I need to do something, fast, before that bloody plumber comes knocking. Think, man, think. I tell myself in between shallow, gasping breaths. But it's just too hard to focus. I'm paralyzed. This is a nightmare, isn't it? My alcohol-pickled brain playing nasty tricks? Has to be. I grab the fleshy part of my thigh with my thumb and forefinger and twist sharply to the left. A jolt of pain radiates outward. Oh, God! Nope, not a nightmare. I scan the room frantically as the walls loom closer, threatening to bury me. My studio's not exactly palatial, so there isn't much to look at. The double bed takes up most of one wall, the sofa takes up the wall opposite, and the longer wall facing the bathroom and entryway is shared between the 5-unit kitchenette and the closet. The closet! I race towards it, sweeping all the clothes hangers to one side and sizing up the space. A rectangular box around 1 foot wide by 2 feet deep. Can I pop him in here for now? Until the plumber leaves and my head's screwed back on straight? No, it's too tight. I don't want to risk him falling into the plumber's lap while he's walking by. What about under the bed? Aye, that's probably better. Safer. It might be snug, but I'm sure he's past minding about that. Running purely on adrenaline, I pull out the storage boxes, some of which I haven't seen in eons. Fine dust fills my airways, and a fit of sneezing doubles me up. I wait for it to pass, eyes closed, chest bucking in anticipation of a sneeze that never quite makes it out. Sniffling. I finish clearing the space under the bed, set aside the covers, and size up the bloke. He's about 5'8", average build, not a hefty guy, thank God for small favors. Admittedly, my exercise routine mainly involves lifting sandwiches off the table and moving them towards my mouth. But seeing as he's of similar build to me, it seems doable. It's not like he's going to thrash about. I wipe my nose absently on the back of my hand, grab him under the arms, and pull him towards me. The weight takes me by surprise, and I drop him. His arms hang loosely over the bed, grazing the floor. I take a few deep breaths and try again. This time I put my back into it and manage to move him half off the bed before I have to let go. His head bangs against the floor with a sickening loud thud. 10:15, proclaims the clock on my side table. How long has it been since Morag came up? 5? 10 minutes? That blasted plumber's going to knock any minute. I brace myself, place my hands under the body's armpits, and give a mighty heave. He slips off the bed, unbalancing me in the process, and his head bangs the floor. Good thing he's past worrying about concussions. My arms hurt. I think I might have pulled a muscle, but he's off the bed. Half the battle. I squat next to the body, move it parallel to the bed, and try pushing it into the space I've made underneath. My legs slot in like the final missing piece of a jigsaw puzzle and disappear from view. But the head won't budge. Something's blocking the way. Right on cue, the door knocks. I push the bloke frantically with both hands, willing his head to get under the bed. "Come on, please move," I plead. But the dead bloke stubbornly refuses to cooperate. I peer underneath the bed and immediately see what's wrong. There are 2 shoeboxes lying at an angle, stuck between one of the bed's legs and a large plastic box. I move them out of the way to the sound of more door knocking and give the body a good shove. The head disappears from view. The bloke behind the door is tall and gangly, with an expanding forehead and a scruff of white speckled beard. "Hiya, bud. Can I help you?" I tell him, hoping I'm not looking too flushed from the exertion. "All right, bud. Morag sent me," he replies, brandishing his paint and grime-splattered toolbox like a weapon. "Said I should take a look at your bathroom." "Did she? Does it look like a leak, then?" I ask him, hoping my voice doesn't sound as shaky to him as it does to me. Honestly, my bathroom's bone dry. If there's a leak, I don't think it's coming from here. "Doesn't matter if your bathroom's dry or not, bud," he fires back. "The leak could still be coming from here, even if it's not affecting you. Just let me check, and I'll be out of your hair as soon as I can." "Okay, then," I say. I swallow nervously and let him in. He gives my studio a long, appraising look I find unnerving. Has he gazed just a tad too long at my bed? I scan the small gap between the edge of the duvet and the floorboards, but nothing jumps out at me. If I didn't know about the body, I wouldn't be able to tell something's amiss. But for some reason, I don't find this the least bit reassuring. Bathroom's this way," I say, resisting the urge to grab him by the arm and drag him away. "All right." I usher him into the room. He puts down his toolbox and takes another look around. "So Morag's saying her leak's coming from here?" I say, compelled to fill the silence and eager for him to do what he's here to do and get out double quick. I wave a finger at the area around my pedestal sink. "See?" I say hopefully, giving the tiles a few tentative swipes with my right hand. "Bone dry." The plumber looks at the tiles, cocks his left ear, and raps a few places with his knuckles. Seemingly satisfied, he squats in front of his toolbox and takes out a small device that reminds me of the PKE meter the Ghostbusters use to detect ectoplasm. Seems apt. "Just looking for wet spots inside your walls," he explains. "This is a thermal imaging camera. If there's a leak, I should be able to see it." "You mean that camera shows you differences in temperature?" I ask, unconsciously moving between the plumber and the bathroom door to block his view of the bed. Do dead blokes in tuxes show up on thermal imaging cameras? I suppress the urge to run my hands through my hair. "Kind of. The difference in temperature is quite subtle, but moisture spreads in a very distinctive pattern. It's easy to recognize it if you know what you're doing, and this camera's quite powerful." Fabulous. Just what I want to hear. He scans the whole room, taking his time. My heart skips a beat as he hovers over the bathroom door, into my studio's main room and the bed beyond. Then he stops abruptly. What the? Has he just seen a human-shaped cold pocket? Is this it? Something sharp twists in my stomach. "There you go. There's a bunch of water pooled there," he says, pointing the camera towards the bath. "It's probably where the pipes from your sink go." He squats in front of his toolbox and produces a Phillips screwdriver. "Let me take a look, see what's going on," he mutters to himself. He gets to work unscrewing my bathtub's plastic front panel, whistling a tune that sounds familiar, but which I can't for the life of me seem to recognize. I shuffle my feet like I need to pee and scratch the back of my head absently with my right hand. "Had a good one last night, by the looks of you, eh?" he says conversationally. His eyes never leave the bath. So he hasn't seen anything, has he? No, surely not. He pointed that blasted thing in the bed's general direction for barely half a second, and I was in the way. Not too bad," I say. "Could have done with an extra hour of sleep, to be honest. But apparently my plumbing had other ideas." There it is, he grunts. This pipe's wet to the touch. Do you have some towels? This is gonna get messy. Sure. I'm reluctant to leave him alone, because the edge of the bed is in his line of sight. Would it be weird if I told him to feel free to make as big of a mess as he wants? Who'd bloody say that? Of course it would be weird. I step out of the bathroom and walk towards the closet, but not before stealing a quick glance. The plumber's lying flat on his back, unscrewing something with an adjustable wrench. Feeling thankful I decided against stuffing the dead bloke in the closet after all, I turn the knob, open the closet door wide, and survey the array of towels on the upper shelf. I pull 2 blue ones with frayed edges out from the middle of the pile, placing them in the crook of my left arm, and get ready to go back to the bathroom. But, just as I'm about to turn around, I hear a noise that freezes my blood. I've never been near a gun in my entire life, but there's no mistaking the click of the safety being released. I've watched enough gangster films to recognize the sound. Turn around, very slowly, and don't try anything funny, bud. The previously laid-back voice had acquired a distinctly steely edge, the tone of a man who doesn't take shite from anyone, especially not from the likes of me. But why? What just happened? Who is this bloke? Okay, don't shoot, I say, hating the tremble in my voice. I lift my hands chest high, palms open, and keep them shoulder-width apart, letting the towels tumble soundlessly to the floor. I turn around slowly, taking great care to show him I'm not going to try and be a hero. All right, bud, the plumber says, the barrel of his gun aimed straight at my chest. His arm rocks steady. We need to have a chat, you and I. Why don't you sit down? My stomach drops. The troublesome itchiness in my chest is back with a vengeance. I tiptoe my way to the sofa and sit down. That's good, he says. Nice and easy. He walks closer, pulls up a chair, and sits astride it, his gun trained on me the entire time, not moving a fraction of an inch. Now, tell me, Bertie, he says, his voice positively overflowing with quiet menace. What have you done with that prick? Thank you for sharing your time with me. Your time and attention are truly appreciated. If audiobooks are your thing, you can listen to full novels on My Secret Obsession at Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, and Apple. If you enjoyed this reading, please follow, subscribe, or give a thumbs up. Your support means everything to me. Until we meet again, goodbye and happy reading.